Now, one of, if not the most important muscular or bodily understandings and intelligences to have is basic arm-to-body integrity. This idea that when I rotate and pivot, I don't leave my arm behind. I want my arm to move with me from the body. So the power I'm generating from that spine gets communicated to the limb. Simply put, many people will wrap the bear trap and then go to turn away to move the person one direction or the other and leave the arm slightly, if not completely, behind. Particularly when opponents base up and resist, it sometimes triggers a freeze response in the arm. You'll see very often in students, and they lose them, they rob themselves of all the power. So a very, very simple drill that you can perform can be done with lots of different tools. I'm going to show you a host of them. Starting off with a mannequin like Bob, if I wrap around, whether it's from the palm, from the nape control, or from the arm cradle, see the difference between pivoting my body away and leaving my arm behind to get a stretch. That may feel great as a stretch, as a warm-up, but tactically it's terrible, versus every centimeter and millimeter that my body moves, he follows. My arm wants to come. And if he was so resistant that he didn't move, my arm should still try to go. And if my arm can't go, my body shouldn't leave it behind. So that's a very simple mechanical drill you can perform. For example, if I'm centered, I can wrap and move. Put this over to center camera. So I can wrap and move with me. Return. Wrap and move with me. And return. Rather than wrapping and leaving it behind and stretching. So it's a very simple way to do it. Another way is to simply take an elastic or a strap. I like an elastic, but if you only have a belt will do as well. Tie it to something fixed like a door frame. In this case, I'm using the pull-up rack. And again, see the difference. Imagine it's racked in like a punching position. If I move my body and leave my hand behind, which sometimes I do in boxing if I drop bait and then hit you from an unseen angle. But in the case of the bear trap, I never want to leave my arm behind. So feel the difference of the stretch versus delivering with the body. Delivering with the body. And normally I'll overly contract that arm and keep it in like kind of a strong bent angle like that. And that's a great way to develop it. If I use something like a ball already is self-made, right? It's just perfect. You just grip it and I move. So it's teaching my arm to move with my body. There's not as much resistance, but if I increase the weight on the ball, use a medicine ball or a heavier slam ball, that's a great and simple way to sort of make pivot training a little bit more exciting and a little bit more interesting. If I want more weight, I take something like a kettlebell and I rack it. I can get that arm up into a side frame. I can support it. And I practice doing the exact same motion. So it's a very simple drill, but until you've done that to a bit of an exhausted burn, you don't really appreciate what it feels like to contract in the arm and move with the body. And this is one of, if not the most common mistake I see with students. They grab somebody for a throw, they turn away and leave the subject there. So however you can train, if you have multiple tools, train a different way. Shock your body, get your muscles awake, get them feeling this fundamental arm and body integrity, and then proceed slowly when you return to a human because you're going to have a lot more power.